I'm at Gorongosa National Park. Finally. I feel like I've been wanting to come here for 20 years. Well, I feel like I have been wanting to come here for 20 years, so it's a real bucket list destination for me, and I hope it lives up to my expectations, but I'm pretty sure it will, because the drive-in alone was already absolutely spectacular, and I'm so excited. And as with any bush experience, it's normally what you make of it, so I'm going to appreciate all the little things and just absolutely love being here. So really excited. I'm going to go in now, check in, see if I can find my campsite and get set up. I probably won't go on a drive today yet, and get camping, get a fire started, make some dinner, and then head out into the park tomorrow. I can't wait. Actually, oh goodness, it's a pretty incredible feeling, I must be honest. Pretty exhausted. It was a long day. This camp's beautiful. One of the things that sucks about Gorongosa is there's no self-driving. The elephants apparently are just so dangerous that you can't do it. So you have to book a drive every day, or every time you want to drive, certainly. It's $30 for a South African resident. I think it's $40 for international people. So it's not cheap and it's going to add up, but there's no point coming here if I'm not going to go on drives. But tonight I'm going to have a very easy night, have a glass of wine, make some burgers in the fire, and then hit the hay. But I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. The drive starts at 5:30 a.m., so it's my favorite time to be in the bush. And despite being really tired, I'm very excited. So it's 5:30 and I'm heading out on my first morning game drive at Gorongosa. Can't wait to get out into the reserve.
I cannot promise you that I will show you elephants, lion, buffalo. Those are the famous species and the big game.
Castro, my guide for the next few days, ran me through the standard briefing before we headed out into the park. It's always a bit fun waiting to see how long till the rangers realize that I have just a little bit of bush experience. Gorongosa National Park is a 400,000 hectare reserve in central Mozambique. In the 1960s, it had a denser abundance of wildlife than any other area in Africa. After a generation of war that had an epicenter in the area, 95% of the large mammals had been killed. In 2004, the Mozambican government approached billionaire philanthropist Greg Carr to get involved and help rejuvenate this once famous reserve. Since then, the most remarkable period of recovery has happened. Despite obstacles too numerous to mention, Gorongosa is well on its way to returning to its rightful place as one of Africa's great reserves. One of the biggest advantages of having a private driver is that they are all connected via radio. So if you're lucky, you can get notified of a sighting you may otherwise have missed. What type of animals are those?
Those are lions.
Lions?
Yes.
What kind of lion is that?
Those are lionesses. There are 3 cubs, and the mom is behind nearby the kill.
You know I'm joking, right?
I'm sure. I know that you know that too. Those guys are lions.
There are about 100 lions in Gorongosa. Although they are one of the species that did survive the war years, their numbers were decimated but are slowly recovering. So we're very lucky to find this female with her 2 sub-adult cubs feeding on a waterbuck. Exciting to start the trip. Great start, Castro.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Lion on the first day, man.
On the first day.
Amazing.
It's a lucky, you know. As you can see now, the dry grass, it's similar as the color of the lions.
Yeah.
So they're gonna even hide here, you won't see them. But if someone see that, they're gonna let you know and address you that go to that point, you might see something.
Beautiful morning drive. We're just stopping for a cup of coffee in it's an old camp structure that was built by the Portuguese, Castro was telling me. But now it's a coffee stop. Drive's been beautiful. Weather's a bit cold, but it's been awesome. And that lion sighting was really great. Seeing lions here is very special. There's, you know, as much as the animals have recovered already, there's still not the density of somewhere like Kruger. So it's really, really special to have a sighting like that. I spent the midday hours doing some work in camp before heading out again for an afternoon drive. We are heading out on our second game drive with Castro. I'm really excited. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't really improved, but it's still great to be in the bush, and hopefully we have some luck. We're heading to a different part of the park. We're heading to Hippo Pools, Castro?
Yeah, we are going to the Hippo Pool.
Our first sighting of the afternoon was not the most beautiful. In fact, marabou storks have the unfortunate honor of being on the ugly five, but they are still fascinating birds. They've gathered here in a drying waterhole to catch the fish that are left stranded. Castro was determined to find the notorious elephants of Gorongosa, and we started to see a lot of signs of their presence.
Can you see this branch here? Yesterday, something was around here.
Despite Castro's best efforts and exploring some barely used sections of the park, we weren't able to find the elephants. Great way to top off an awesome day. Got a gin and tonic in hand with a beautiful view out here. Got a pretty quiet afternoon drive, but it was still amazing to see some more parts of this incredible reserve. I tell you what, in a couple of years' time, if they continue to increase the animal populations in this area, you can see why it was heaven on earth and why it will be heaven on earth again. Cheers, guys. Our long search for elephants was not entirely in vain. Being out a little later than usual meant we saw some of the nocturnal habitants of Gorongosa, including what I thought was a very rare civet sighting. As beautiful as it is, Gorongosa is an ecosystem out of balance, and that explains why we ended up seeing more African civets in 4 days than I have in my entire life. Their natural competition were poached to extinction, but because they managed to hold on, now that they are safe and the reserve is flourishing, their numbers are unnaturally high. Wild dogs have recently been introduced, and there are plans to reintroduce hyenas and jackals. But in the meantime, it makes Gorongosa an absolute civet paradise, and probably one of the best places in the world to see this rare, elusive animal. Morning, guys. Forgive my sleepy eyes. It's nice and early. Looks like the sun's going to come out today, which is awesome. I'm making the most of it and going on a bushwalk, which is super cool. Oh, look, there's a warthog sleeping in the camp. See him there? How cool. I love being in the bush on foot, so it's going to be really exciting to do it here. I'm not sure which landscape they're going to take us to because there's a whole selection of them here. But I'm really excited either way, get some shots on foot and find out some more about the little stuff that happens in Gorongosa National Park.
From here, probably 2 hours, we're going to head straight. Yeah. And then see what we can come up with and possibly some interesting stuff. We just talk about treks and pretty much trees, maybe follow each other quietly, listening to the birds. And yeah, whenever we find something interesting, we'll stop and then we talk about that stuff and again we continue walking. But that's civet, that's African civet. It's difficult when they're walking into this little soft sand. Sometimes they kind of like expanding, so basically they're very territorial, which they stay single, avoiding that conflict. But yeah, wildebeest are getting used to us now. They're starting moving a lot, coming, especially now when the grass is coming out, starting rejuvenated. It's more sweet grass. So you see them coming now, mostly on the fly campsite. There's a lot there, yes. Which are big groups, 100.
And you guys don't have many scavengers at the moment, eh?
We only have, well, let's say we got lions, which lions is very opportunistic. You know, they can hunt, they can also scavenge when they find something lying around. But we lack those dominant scavengers like hyenas.
That would spread
that will just clean up everything, like jackals, we don't have those. But pretty much soon they will bring the hyena. They're talking of a certain number, we're not sure. Maybe one pack of 10 in October.
Spotted.
Yeah, spotted hyenas. They used to occur in this area. They need to bring animal chews to occur in the area, so that's the plan. So we might get 6, 10 hyena, let's see. Wow. Yes, we are in between. Eh?
So it sounds like we are between two groups of male lions that are calling from either direction. So it's nerve-wracking, but exciting as well. You don't want to walk in that direction?
Not that, that's fine. Okay, just keep on listening to that. Wow. You know, the people that thought maybe this yellow powder was probably providing the disease, so probably they named after it. But the thing is, they grow where the water is. So these are kind of like water-dependent trees. Wherever you see them growing, that area will be full of water, and then it promotes a lot of mosquitoes. So there's a certain mosquito we call Anopheles. When you get bitten with that one, then you get the disease. So they named the tree thinking it was providing that disease. But you can see here, it look like those dead trees. See that? Like someone was burning them around, but they sacrifice themselves. When one branch takes over, one will have to obtain that wastage, what we call sugar, and the toxic kind of stuff, it goes to another branch, then it dies, and then one takes over like that. So that's how they grow.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You get the lance calling or the...
Castro. Hello. Awesome bushwalk. As you can see, it's getting pretty hot. Also carrying quite a heavy camera setup, so glad it's done. We didn't actually see much. We saw a bit of plains game. We got some interesting stories about bushcraft, which is, I think, what bushwalks are really about. So he told us about the fever trees, and he told us about a bunch of spoor. Oh, look at these incredible floodplains behind me here. That's Lion House on the far side where I had coffee on my first morning. Did you see them?
Off. Yeah, I got. I will show you
I
the video.
With you. What are you showing me there?
I'm showing the video that I made this morning. I'm showing the video that I made this morning. I was tracking this big male lion.
Are you showing off?
Yeah, so the guy, I think soon he will get off the road. So...
That's awesome. I'm very jealous. Very jealous, Castro.
I can't believe it.
Are we going to go look for them this afternoon?
So yeah, I would try.
I understand. I'm giving you a hard time.
Just a little bit around of that place. Maybe we can have a good luck to see it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Muito obrigado.
De nada.
Coffee with a spectacular view again.
On our way back to camp, one of the other rangers radioed in to say he'd found the line that Castro was tracking. So we dropped off the other guests and headed straight back out.
So this one is a male lion. So this morning I was tracking him and I got him in this place. But we started from the road, was following up to this point here. So they have to spend the whole day on the shade sleeping just to preserve the energy so that by the end of the day they will start moving again. So that's why these guys are right here. They're so active at night. They move a lot, but during the day they just relax on the shade.
You'll notice a lot of the animals in the park have satellite collars. This is part of the ongoing monitoring and research that the park is doing as they assess the recovery and their progress in returning this to a balanced ecosystem.
Had an awesome morning camp drive. I just wanted to show you guys my desk, my little desk set up in the camp here. You wonder how I get videos out while we're on the road, even though I don't do it as consistently as I would like. This is how I travel with all of this stuff. And on top of this is all the camera gear. I mean, there's some camera gear on the desk there, but most of the camera gear is not in the shot. So yeah, you'll get an idea of how much we carry. That's for me, it's just the stuff I need to produce the videos like this. But anyways, I've got some work to do. Then I'm gonna make some lunch, and then we'll go out for an afternoon driving. Just trying to do a voiceover. There's so much noise in this camp. There's so much construction going on. I think it's a good thing. It shows how dynamic they are, but it's really tough when you try and do a voiceover. Seems to be a moment of quiet. I'm gonna try to sneak it in quickly. Never done this on camera. In this week's episode of Lost in Mozambique, Beat us some modeling, we try to exercise, we stay at a king's house, we watch the sunset, and Bianca gets stuck 3 times while playing in the sandwich bar. I bet there are audio people, and I know some very good audio people that are cringing watching me do this, but gotta get it up on the road. Got no choice. There's no studio here, that's for sure. It's actually pretty good. It's a funny one, so. Fade it in, fade it out, adjust the levels, check it against background music, move on to the next one. I'm gonna bore you guys with all of these, but yeah, this is what I do when I'm editing on the road. There's literally a plane trying to take off while I do my voiceover. As you can tell, really not a good time to do a voiceover.
I eventually give up on the voiceover and head out for another drive with Castro. Hopefully the elephants don't dodge us again.
We are desperately trying to find the elephants of Gorongosa, but they don't seem to want to be found. And as we've discovered in the past at different places, elephants have an incredible way of hiding despite being so big. So we haven't had any luck just yet, but it's still amazing exploring the beautiful parts of this park. We're busy driving into a drainage channel at the moment, and it's absolutely stunning. I was saying to Castro, my driver, there's just no terrain like this in South Africa. It's entirely different to what I'm used to. So that's awesome. It's certainly ticking the boxes for something really different and beautiful. But yeah, I'll update you guys on how the drive goes. We're trying to find these ellies, and it looks like there's spoor all over the place here. So we think they may even have been here and they ran away when they heard the car approaching. But we're going to keep on trying, and if we don't find them, we'll still just enjoy being on a drive and seeing a whole bunch of different things and seeing the incredible terrain of Gorongosa National Park.
The tracks of the elephants.
Is it over
our tracks yesterday.
Oh, really?
You may ask what makes these elephants so special. In Kruger you see elephants on every drive, but these are not normal elephants. The Mozambican Civil War officially ended 31 years ago, and elephants can live for up to 70 to 80 years. The competing armies could not ignore the amount of soldiers an elephant can feed, never mind the amount of AK-47s their ivory can buy. These elephants are conflict survivors. They have seen the worst of human behavior. The older ones lived through the war, and an elephant never forgets. So you cannot blame them for not trusting us. Despite Castro's best efforts, we were starting to lose light, and although there was spoor all around us, it looked like our efforts would be in vain again.
So we're trying to make our way off-road to get closer to them, and hopefully I can get a cool shot. Spent 2 days looking for them basically, so
Notice their behavior. The big females get in front, creating a wall of muscle between us and the young. They lift their heads, trumpet, smell the air, and make sure we are completely aware of their enormous size.
So we found the ellies, and true to reputation, they're really aggressive. We're trying to just stand still, let them get a bit accustomed to us so they can relax again. But yeah, definitely a reaction entirely different to what I'm used to from the somewhat relaxed elephants that we have in Kruger Park. etc. These are traumatized animals, you can tell. Incredible experience, though, so beautiful. And every time they have an interaction like this that is peaceful, it will slowly start to rebuild that trust with them. The big matriarch is very not sure of us. She keeps on throwing sand around and flapping her ears, making sure that we know that she's here and that she's big and scary. Don't like people, huh? Shame, man.
Slowly they relax and the babies move around a little more, but the matriarch quickly leads them off. This young male wanted to give us one more show of force while the rest of the herd moved off.
Oh, they're so beautiful. Oh, that was a magical experience. I'm telling you what, one thing, for sure, having spent some more time in the reserves in Mozambique, I appreciate elephants even more than I did. And I've always appreciated them. But yeah, these ellies are pretty traumatized, and that's probably more normal than the South African elephants that are so relaxed. So yeah, it's been really incredible. That's an unreal sighting. I hope I did it justice.
As they say that Gorongosa elephants, if you see them, it's better to see where they are and to make sure that you are in escape route. Because if you see them front or face to face, it's going to be difficult to reverse, to turn around and you back. Because these elephants are very aggressive, especially elephants. They've been poached during the Civil War. They still remember what happened during the Civil War. If you are approaching them very close, especially the females, if they have babies, the team leaders, they used to charging strong the vehicles, and sometimes they're gonna push the vehicles. The previous time, a long time ago, they were allowed to do safe drive, but it happened, same situation, what I said. That's why direction for Gorongosa National Park, they decided to cancel to do safe drive.
we were in for one more surprise on our incredible afternoon in the park. In an effort to calm down the elephants at Gorongosa, a number of calm, large males from Kruger were relocated to try and teach the younger elephants to trust humans. This is one of those big boys. It has had only limited success, unfortunately, in part due to the continued human-wildlife conflict on the edge of the park. The difference is remarkable, and although he gave us some notice and a small warning, he never felt frantic or scared. Hopefully he can pass this behavior on to the next generation. To finish off our incredible day in the bush, we stopped at another of the derelict reminders of Gorongosa's colonial past for an after-sunset sundowner.
This building here, it was a bar during the colonies Portuguese when they were here in Mozambique. By 1940 and 1950, so they built this house here just to have a good view of this big lake. They were using telescope just to observe the hippopotamus around here. They used to come to explore this place here, but spending whole day having lunch here while they are looking around here, they were enjoying in this infrastructure. By the end of the day, they were back to Chitengo to have a night here.
Mozambique is a country with a dark, blood-smeared past, but like the elephants of Gorongosa, it is rebuilding, re-establishing itself, and the future I can imagine is unbelievably beautiful. So that is the end of my stay at Gorongosa, unfortunately. It has been incredible. It is definitely a work in progress. You're not going to have the game densities of the major parks in Africa yet. But does that mean we should not visit it? No, definitely not. I think it is well worth visiting. It is so beautiful. And in fact, with the story of recovery, I think as lovers of wildlife in Africa, it is our duty to visit. A huge thank you to every single person involved, the rangers, the conservationists, the people of Mozambique, and most importantly, Greg Carr, the philanthropist that is financing this incredible project. You are changing the future of this region. The restoration of this environment gives me hope, not just for Africa, but for conservation worldwide. However, I was running out of time and money, so join me soon as I get lost in the Chimani Mani before eventually saying goodbye to Mozambique and heading home after a truly remarkable trip.